You're looking at Metaphysically Speaking with myself, Mystic Madison. We did 2 shows in this weekend, which is so exciting. And I'm about to have some really interesting guests coming on our show because I thought about what else can I do that's outside the box? And what else can I do that is sort of metaphysical and sort of interesting and something that I would be interested in sharing with all of you? And I thought, hey, I did this movie a while ago, and it's called the St. Francisville Experiment. Some of you know it. I know some of you actually, because it was one of the first of its genre, being a paranormal investigation ghost horror / movie, not slasher movie, but horror movie. I know that there was definitely a fan base for it. And I thought, hey, like, why not revisit that show? Because there were metaphysical elements. And why not bring my old cast on the show to join me on Metaphysically Speaking? So that's what we're doing today. We're actually going to show you a little teaser just to refresh your memory. For those of you who haven't seen it, I thought maybe this would be a good lead-in so that you can meet the other cast members. So we have our production crew is taking care of that. And I think we are going to talk a little bit more about it. So I will talk about it until we show the trailer. Basically, 4 people stay in a house that is haunted by the spirit of Madame LaLaurie, who is actually documented in the historical section of New Orleans. And we are the paranormal investigators in that house. Okay, so is it showing?
Fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, so so as soon as it stops running, I'll pick up. Okay. Okay, so we're back. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little teaser. I hope it brought back some memories for those of you who remember the film and who watched the film and sometimes maybe still watch it. I don't know. But I thought it would be really fun to have like a reunion party and get acquainted with everybody all over again and bring them into your living room. Also, sort of like a where are they now thing. So we're just waiting. We're going to have 2 out of the 4 of us, including me. So that's 3 of us who are going to be visiting. They should be here any minute, guys. Any minute. And that's them. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. This is the St. Francisville reunion story. Look. Oh my God. Look. It's them. This is so exciting.
Oh my gosh.
Except I'm supposed to open my door. Ryan, it's Ryan Larson.
Hi.
Oh my God, and PJ Palmer. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys for coming.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
PJ and I haven't seen each other for so long. We just saw each other outside.
Did you guys actually come together?
No, but we did find parking near each other.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Well, I have a space set up for you guys to hang out. And we can start by asking a few questions and kind of revisiting the whole the whole time, catching up.
Oh my gosh.
How are you guys?
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
so
but-
crazy.
How do you two not change? I'm gonna have like whatever you guys are taking. I'm gonna start taking that.
Oh, that's really sweet. It's sweet to say that on camera
Oh
too.
my gosh. It's so wild to see you guys. Oh my
It's
gosh.
really nice.
It's funny because I totally thought that like maybe Ryan was walking and you're like, Ryan, oh my God, hey, hop in my car. So hey, have you guys, let's just start with this, because I realized when we were showing the trailer that I have not seen this movie since I went to the one screening I went to. So have you guys seen it? Paul, what about you?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think the only time I've seen it end to end was at that screening.
So I have seen it. Well, I went to the screening when it was launched at the LA Film Festival, which was super fun. You remember the line was wrapped around the block?
I remember that.
The Directors Guild. And then I actually went to when it opened in the theaters, and we weren't supposed to go because they had us under lock and key. We weren't allowed to go.
I think they were afraid
which
we'd
was so
say
crazy.
something.
But I wore a baseball cap and braids.
So you went in disguise?
I went and I sat I went to one of the theaters, and when I got there were every poster around the entire theater was the St. Francisville experiment. So they had all the poster things were full of art, and all the workers were wearing T-shirts that said the St. Francisville.
Wow.
I wish I had one of those T-shirts.
I know.
I know. We should have gotten a T-shirt. We didn't get a T-shirt.
I'm going to.
I would love to have a t-shirt.
Yeah, but so I'm
Check
watching.
eBay. Yeah, I'm
Check
sure.
eBay, right? So I'm in the very last row at the top, and there's a bunch of guys in front of me, and I'm there with friends, my sisters, and do you remember the scene where I'm like sitting on a step and they interview me? I'm wearing a gray shirt. Anyways,
yes,
I'm pretty sure that they might have cropped a certain look on that, and it was just cropped right. Anyways, the guys in front of me, one of the guys yells in the theater really loud, "Nice tits!"
Oh my God.
And I was sitting right behind him. I almost went, "Thank you very much." But no. So I saw it that time. And then I now have a 6th grader. And so he had never seen the movie, and I wasn't sure like what age. Yeah, so he was like, "I want to have like a bunch of friends over, girls and boys, and like this big party, and I want to watch a movie, and we want to watch a horror movie." And I was like, "Well, maybe it's time."
Did they know? Did your son know?
Yeah, my kids know. Okay. 8-year-old and 12-year-old.
So was that like a hint to see if he would say, "Okay, you're old enough to watch this
now"? He had wanted to see it, and so when he said, "I want to watch something scary with my friends," I didn't want to watch something too scary, but not too.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Let's kind of," because this is such a perfect movie for that age.
Exactly.
And so they loved it, and it was so funny because when the kids were leaving, they were like looking at me like in a different light, like,
sure, yeah,
you were in a scary movie, like, oh my gosh, what happened to you? So
well, I think that's
so
the beauty of the film. And now looking back on that, even though I haven't seen the movie, and I think we should have a reunion where we all watch it with everybody.
I sort of watched it like this, like, what? Wait.
The thing about it, and I think that's why I think there's such a love and there's a following, is it's a little bit campy, it's a little bit eclectic, it's a little bit charming, it's a little bit scary, it's a little bit metaphysical. It's all those things that was kind of in a class by itself at that time.
Right.
So I think it really did attract a lot of younger kids in that generation.
It's interesting because it really was the first of its kind. Because if you think about it, the reality TV hadn't come out yet.
Right.
That didn't exist.
Right.
The closest, American Idol hadn't even started yet. So like even having big game show sort of television that's live.
This is aging us. Sorry.
Well, no, but just the idea that
that's
movie,
absolutely true.
and the only thing that was like it had been the Blair Witch Project.
Right.
But this was sort of different in the sense that we knew going in, like the Blair Witch Project tried to, really fool everybody, but we're like, no, we're gonna, this is more like a documentary horror movie.
It was also personality stuff. Like I think the word campy is actually perfect because there's times to laugh, which is fun.
Yeah,
there's times to laugh.
MTV came out with a TV show just like it, several actually.
Right.
I can't remember the names of them, but all these other
looking
shows
for
come out right after
ghosts.
Well, I think the real pull is that unlike Blair Witch, there was this real drive to find ghosts and to find the meaning behind this whole story that was documented as historical.
Right.
So
I mean, it really was a haunted house, as the story goes. It was
a scary house.
Well,
I remember
it's a scary story as well.
When we left that house,
somebody
I was
like
like,
that
horrifying story.
I remember telling myself I will never come back to this place again.
Yeah, no, and we never did.
No,
we never did. No.
Yeah, well, we could make the St. Francisville too. There's got to be other houses there that are haunted that could use us.
That house is still there too.
Oh my gosh,
horrifying.
But the idea is that yes, there's houses that have activity. There's houses that have paranormal activity, and I think Blair Witch. I mean, there was a Blair Witch too, and that was like a whole different kind of style, I guess,
but,
really than ours, even though it was similar.
But like you said, that wasn't about trying to find the truth of something.
Yeah.
That was just a kind of a straight up horror movie in a documentary style.
Yeah, where they scared the people to death.
More like a reality show, which hadn't existed yet. Now there's millions of them, where we're out to try to. It was almost like a documentary reality show what we were doing.
Right.
We really were there to find something.
Yeah.
I remember when they gave us all the tools the day when they showed us all of these devices, which I didn't know existed to look for ghosts. Didn't know.
Oh yeah, we had Troy Taylor come out,
so crazy.
And he
Geiger
is
counters and stuff.
he's a bona fide ghost hunter, and he has equipment, and we had that lesson, that like quick crash course in how to find ghosts.
Yeah,
I think that stuff actually scared me even more because it would do stuff. I was like, oh god, it's measuring something.
Right, it's measuring something, and when you go into the rooms, remember with that. I was taking out the temperatures or something, right? And was like, it's hot, it's cold, and that was so crazy because it really, you feel a draft and like,
and there were no windows open, right?
No, there were no windows open.
So what do you guys like? I thought it'd be really fun to kind of refresh our memories and do a little behind the scenes thing before we get into what you guys are doing now, which I'd love to hear what you're doing now, especially since I know you've transitioned. Your life has taken a different turn as a career path. But what do you guys remember? We'll start with you. Like, what do you remember about any things that are really popping out right now, either before or in prep? Or I mean, I have like all these little snippets in my mind.
Well, I went into it sort of not trusting the folks making the film. I'm like, I think they're going to mess with us. And I remember when we got there, Tim was late. Remember, we flew on an airplane together to Louisiana.
I forgot about that.
And Tim missed the flight. And then I was like, I don't trust that guy. Like,
oh my gosh, I forgot about it. He's working with that.
And I was like, and then we met for dinner. Remember, we had dinner at this really cool old restaurant.
That dinner was super fun.
Somewhere in Louisiana.
And that restaurant was basically a house. It was like somebody's. It was like a B&B.
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
They didn't film that, did they?
No.
They should have.
No, didn't we? With the. I thought we did because it was all the cracking of the crab's legs, and it was like really noisy. Maybe it didn't make it into the film.
But I think it wasn't scary enough. Yeah. It was just really beautiful, and it was really historical.
They were telling us what we were going to do, and they were kind of informing us of what was going to happen.
It's kind of scaring us.
And it was nice. It was actually nice. In my opinion, I think it was nice that they gave us some bonding time.
Because that's when Tim showed up finally. I was like checking him out. I'm like, whose team are you on?
Maybe that's why they had the dinner to begin with, because they wanted us to know that he was with us and not with them.
Yeah.
I think you and I were bonding because we shared a room.
Yes.
But I mean,
Tim and I shared a room.
I mean, I definitely felt a bond with all of you guys. Yeah, like we were in this scary situation together.
Yeah, there was we were going into a battle.
We had met each other.
We
had only met. I remember we met each other when we had. Did I meet you? I don't think I met you when I had that actual audition.
No.
Right, I don't think so. No.
But I had met you there.
I don't know.
I didn't meet
there was
any
so
of you
many people there. We met so many.
I don't remember how we met, but I do, So I remember feeling a little like, well, I don't trust anybody. But then once we all got together, like you said, we came together as a team really quickly. Yeah. But I think because we knew we were going into battle, it's like we're going to go to this scary house. We don't know what's in there. And we don't know what to expect.
And then they were like, by the way, the doors are locked. By the way, you can't leave. Like, that was, they kept adding to, wait, what?
Scared me was like, they said, and there's an ambulance out front.
Yes.
I was like, why is there an ambulance? Yes. Like, because anything could happen. I was like,
and there really wasn't.
Then there really wasn't an ambulance. A paramedic waiting for us. I was like, well, what are you expecting to happen to us?
I remember, and I'm going to talk about this, and I have no qualms about saying this, but I had a lot of anxiety, and I had just started taking Zoloft. I was taking a very low dose, but it was like that week I had just made this decision. I have a lifetime. I'm not on Zoloft anymore, but just to let you know, but I had a lifetime battle with anxiety. And I remember that was almost like a personal journey for me because, you know, I remember I was talking in the camera and I said, I don't like small places. And you said to me, I don't think you should tell anybody that.
Yes.
I remember like I had my own sort of journey where I had to have my inner struggle of dealing with the fact that we couldn't leave and dealing with the fact that there were all these unknowns, which I do horrible with uncertainty.
Right. Yeah.
So,
we were pretty brave now that I think of it.
I remember this. You know what I do remember is when we went into it, I told them no Ouija boards. I will not. I do not want to Ouija. Yes, I was adamant about it.
It never occurred to me there would be one.
I was like, I don't want it
me
around
neither,
me.
actually.
And then they had that box they sent in with us with like our food and stuff. Yeah, and there was a Ouija board inside.
Our food for like however long we'd be trapped in there. It was like 3 sandwiches.
Right. Yeah, it was like nothing.
But then there was a Ouija board in the box. It was like, oh. Damn it. It was like,
but you didn't express that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, didn't I say? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I
remember also I was like wondering whether or not we should actually open that thing because it was like, that's going to mess with us.
It did.
It did. It was really scary.
It was really scary. That was the scariest time of
that was the only part where I felt comfortable. Because I felt like there was a benign honest to goodness, I felt like there was a benign presence with us. And that benign presence was spelling out that what we needed to look for, what we needed to pay attention to, how we were actually more in control than we thought we were. And do you remember that? I remember you were writing the things down. And then they changed the game again. And then they made us go upstairs.
Yeah.
And that was the game changer.
And we tried to get this guy to go first. That was for sure.
You were the leader.
I was not the
designated leader.
I was like, I don't want to do this.
I can remember being like, Paul, you go. There's a lot of me saying, Paul. There's a lot of that in the movie.
I felt like
I felt like very
behind him.
Paul.
Yes, I was protected by Paul.
It really felt like,
and the white light.
I felt like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I was just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Totally. I'm pretty sure you said that actually.
That's exactly how I felt. It was like, there's a ghost up there. I don't want to go up there.
Oh my gosh.
I'd rather stay down.
Oh my gosh. And the attic. The attic was freaky.
I still have like anxiety around the idea of when we got really scared and we ran out of there.
Yes.
And that staircase, that spiral staircase was 3 stories tall or 2 stories, 3 from the.
We were booking it down.
And it was a really. I remember telling you guys, hold the rail because I was afraid if we fell. I'm like, that's.
And then you heard somebody say your name in your ear when we were walking down the staircase.
And then the when we were doing the Ouija board, the spirit identified itself as Charles, and I kept saying, Charles will keep you safe, and you're like, I don't want to be Charles.
Well, that was scary. I don't,
Oh my goodness.
Even if Charles was nice, I really didn't want to meet him.
So I feel like I could go on forever just talking about things that you remember because
we never
jogging memories.
We never debriefed.
I know, that's true.
I don't think we ever did.
Did we?
Well, this is our debriefing.
Really. Yeah.
Our debriefing is for them.
Right.
They can call. You guys can call in with your questions, by the way. But so I wanted to ask you, and then we're going to get to you. Do you have any different feelings now about? Did that change your mind about spirituality or ghosts or entities or demonic beings? Or I mean, anything. I shouldn't really say that, but anything.
Changed my perspective on it is. This kind of put us in a closer encounter than I'd ever had before. And I remember that, like, after we got out of the house, all went back to our cabins with those rooms we had, far away from the house, which was good. I remember, like, being so freaked out and being like, I can't believe I just went through all that. I can't believe, like, I allowed myself to go through that. Because it was, as much as Charles might have been friendly, that place was not a friendly house. And then there was bad things that happened at that property. And you could feel it. And I was just like, I feel lucky to be alive after what we went through that night. And I fell asleep, deep sleep, because I'd been up all night, but woke up just like freaked out. Like I wanted to get out of Louisiana. I've been back. Louisiana's lovely, but and then since then I had more time to obviously think it through and I don't know if it changed. It made it more real for sure. That experience made it more real. And I think I also realized I can mess with things I want to or not. And I've chosen not.
Did you have previous experience with Ouija boards that made you not want to?
I think that's why they cast me.
Is that something you told the producers?
Yeah.
What happened?
I just remember the thing. flying off the board too many times. You know,
when did you use it?
Like 7.
With family?
No, it was me and my friend. His mom had one. We were using it.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's not fun. Because it was like, suddenly just...
You would touch it and it would start to move.
Yeah. I mean, this thing from Parker Brothers or whatever.
Right. Which is a gaming company.
Right. Would, like, do something. And it was like, okay, I don't need to mess with that. It's too much.
Right.
So they don't know what it's going to do besides fly across the room. But it would fly across the room. And I was like, my friend didn't throw it. I didn't throw it. You know, so... And so I'm pretty sure I told them that in casting, which is probably why I got cast.
Which is probably why they didn't ask me about Ouija boards, but they probably said, "Oh, we'll just put it in there."
We'll throw it in. He said no, but oh well.
Do you remember when we were using it? I don't know if you remember this. Maybe you will, but it would start. The board actually started turning. Do you remember it?
I don't remember that.
Spinning slowly. Okay. Yeah, it was really. That was really
the scariest part of the night.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Well, okay. Besides the attic, running for our lives
Yeah.
down the staircase,
Yeah.
but that room, especially, I did not like that room. We did the Ouija board. That was upstairs. Had that fireplace in it.
Right.
That was so interesting. It's. I actually felt like a loving presence around us.
Yeah, you kept saying that.
Yeah, you did keep
you kept saying that. And I was like, but it's a presence.
Right. And we
the thing
can't
that's
see
freaking
it.
me out.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, for me, definitely what the scariest part for me was being locked in the house.
Mm-hmm.
The uncertainty, not knowing what was going to happen to us, having communication from the outside cut off. They could see us, but we couldn't communicate with them.
Do you remember all that noise up in the attic when we were down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
it happened almost immediately.
Well, and then we'd lose power sometimes.
Yeah, they would cut the power.
Yeah.
But we were on the ground floor. It was 3-story. Well, the attic was the third story, right?
I think it was 4.
It was the 4th,
yeah.
right? So. I remember we could hear it sounded like the furniture in the attic was being dragged across the floor.
Right.
And we're like,
what does that sound?
Nobody could have gotten up there. I mean, there's no way to get there except the staircase we took.
Right.
Oh man,
it's trippy.
But just to be sitting there on the floor eating our sandwiches is going on, something's up there moving around.
Yeah, no, I remember. I remember it was harrowing. You know.
Yeah.
It's so funny though because I remember I had all these things around my waist.
your
like,
camera.
What did I need those for? I had like tape. Like, what was I gonna do with the tape? Like, I don't know. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go into battle. I've got my tape. Like, I know.
It was like a battery. I think there were flashlights in there.
It was a bunch of stuff just all on my waist.
Yeah. Well, I still feel like it was a fortunate experience that we got to do that. And I do wish, I have to say, Tim, if you're out there, I do wish you were. We weren't going to bring you into this because I know you're doing other stuff, but he really was a pretty metaphysical person. And he was like, he was sort of like the person that was like, I believe in ghosts with you. So like, let's just do this thing. He was like the Scooby-Doo person that was like, I want to shake the ghost's hand.
Right. I'm like, no, I don't want to.
So what are you doing now?
So I am.
Or do you want to talk about, like, I think you had mentioned to me that you had somebody, a couple of people recognize you.
Yeah, so it's so funny because, there's this following for this film, which I don't think we ever would have thought that would have been the case. Right. But I think you made a good point that a lot of the demographic that they said loved the film was 13 to 18 years old. And so if this came out in 2000, they're grown up and they, still pull it out sometimes, which is so awesome. I was at a wedding. I'm a wedding planner now. And the bridesmaid, I had seen her for 2 days because the wedding, and she kept saying, "I know you from somewhere," which is such an LA thing. Because how many times have you said that to someone? I know you, and it turns out, they were on a show forever, and And I said, "Well, I don't know. We were trying to figure it out." And I was like, "Well, I used to be an actress. Was an actress for a long time." And she was like, "Well, what were you in?" And I was kind of listing different things. I was like, "I don't know if you'd know me from this," and I'm listing things. And finally, I was like, "Well, I don't think you'd know me from this scary movie I was in. It's called the St. Francisville Experiment." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, that's my boyfriend's favorite movie. I've seen you in our place."
And you did their wedding?
I did her friend's wedding. I know, wedding. Yeah, wow. She was a bridesmaid. It's so funny because it had been so many years that I had been recognized from it years ago.
Yeah.
But it had just been a long time, and I had heard rumblings that there was like a little cult following of the film. I knew that, but I wasn't really involved in in any of the following out there. So it was just a funny moment because it was this like St. Francisville coming back into my life. Like, oh my gosh, it's been so long. And then a couple years ago, it was the 15-year anniversary, I guess. And so I think like, you know, some of the followers were kind of, you know, coming together on Facebook about that, which is super cool. But
Waylon Jordan contacted me,
and he had written an article.
He writes for iHorror. He's a brilliant writer, and he's also a medium. And he had contacted me on Facebook, and he had asked me about the movie. And there's certain things that we can't discuss, and he respected that. But he said, "I'm a medium, and I'd love to talk to you." And we became really good friends. And he was one of those people who watched it as a very young boy. And it's funny that it really hit that demographic. And I think the curiosity about the metaphysical thing, and also the allure of being able to make your own film,
right?
Being able to put a camera in an actor's hand.
We were the ones making it.
And there was
essentially, even though, you know, it was producers and all that, but essentially, we had
there was no cameraman in
there for the most part.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, they're supposed to be real people, and the truth is we were actors, but we were still actors in a situation that was uncertain for us.
We were really scared. We really were scared.
Yeah, we were cast. That doesn't mean we were acting. It was like I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified.
It was scary.
Even like I get anxiety when I see the trailer, and there's that part where we're getting out of the van, and walking towards the house. I'm like, God, I was so afraid to walk.
We were so
house.
scared. Yeah.
Well, that's why I gave the house blessing. By the way, I looked at some of the reviews, and people were like, she was blessing the house so much, it really got under my skin. And you know, I actually before I left,
I was like, give it anything you got, Madison.
Before I left LA, I had consulted with people that do paranormal work, and I'd consulted with a woman who does like house clearings and stuff like that. And I went to her. I mean, I paid her to have a consultation. I said that this is what was happening. This is completely out of my territory. I'm a tarot card reader. I don't know about this stuff. And she gave me the lowdown how to handle something like this as she would. So I just didn't know how many times I was supposed to do it. So I did it like at every doorway.
Because that house really needed it. That house had a crazy vibe.
Didn't you feel a little safer, like just kind of saying, "Hey, this is we're here to kind of work. We're not here to cause any disruption.
Absolutely.
We don't want to stir up the energy. We're here with good intentions." I mean, did that make you feel a little better?
Absolutely.
So, I downloaded some photos from the movie.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to turn the camera on.
Okay, cool.
So you guys can take a look at it.
So we're gonna so now we still have to talk about some other stuff because I really want to know what Paul's doing now. So let me just take a little commercial break. The commercial break is to recommend that people give us a thumbs up, give us a heart. Also message me and tell me what you would like us to ask, or if there's something on metaphysically speaking that you'd like to see in the future, if you have anything you want to ask these guys. So that's our commercial break. So let's go back to Paul.
What the movie is.
Right. Okay. So our production staff just told us that I just want to remind everybody it's presumptuous of me to assume that you all know the St. Francisville Experiment, but you can still watch it. This is a movie that we did about paranormal investigation. There's 3 out of the 4 of us with you today in your living room. And now Paul's going to give us a rundown on the arc of his career, because I think that you transitioned out of acting and now you are doing other things. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So I stayed in acting for a few years after that movie. Did a lot of commercials. Really fun commercials.
Oh, that's great. That's like the golden
jackpot
of an actor's career.
That's great. Fabulous.
In terms of financial success,
Yeah, because then you got to live for, most of the year.
Do some theater while you paid your bills with your commercial. I know, I love it. Yeah.
You know the commercials?
I did one for Coors Light, and then that ran forever, which is great. And then they reran it in as a new commercial in Canada, so I got repaid all over again.
Love it.
Like 3 years later.
Love it. That's awesome.
Just great checks coming in. And then I did another one for ESPN Mobile, which was a phone that ESPN came out with that was all about sports. And this did, and we did a huge Super Bowl commercial. It was a lot of fun. But then right after that, I was kind of tired of it. I was I think because of the LA is not an easy city, and the audition, your job is auditioning.
Right.
The acting part isn't really your job. You get to do that once in a while, and you get paid for that part.
Right.
But you're not getting paid for the 3 or 4 auditions across town every single day.
Right.
And if you're not doing those auditions every single day, you're not going to land those big jobs once in a while. I was just like tired. I was just like, I can't keep. And also, I think I like making my own stuff. Like I like making. Right. I want to tell my stories. As an actor, you're telling somebody else's story. Now, in the St. Francisville experiment, we kind of got to tell our own story because there was no script.
Yeah.
We got to, be ourselves. But that's rare. That never happens. And so, and I've always been a writer, and I'd already produced a few movies before we did St. Francis. So I kind of just moved away into directing, producing, writing.
Now, I noticed when I was looking you up that you're an award-winning. You've won awards for your work. Yep. So what work was that you won the awards for?
I might have to look at my website.
Have you won so many that you forgot?
No, I just don't think about it. It's kind of like stuff that's put there to make clients like come.
Yeah, but obviously you're on your path and you're working.
Yeah, a few script writing contests and
what's your favorite
You're
stuff?
writing features? Sorry.
Yeah, I actually have a feature that I've co-written that got me into the Edinburgh Film Festival Directors Lab a couple years ago. So that movie's still making movies takes forever. So we're still working on getting that one up on its feet. And then I have a pilot that I've written that's out to a bunch of networks and
What's your favorite kind of stuff to do right now? Is it like features or is it,
I really want this pilot to happen, this TV show, because it's an hour-long drama, but it's a limited series. We've written it as 12 episodes, so it's like a 12-hour movie. Oh,
wow.
That's what limited series are like. They're just really long movies.
Right.
And I really like that format. It's, because a movie is great, but it's hard to get some of the stories I want to tell into 2 hours or an hour and a half. So, I like the limited series because I don't have to think of another season either. It's just like it's one.
I feel like you're seeing a lot more of those.
Oh, you are crazy. And I feel like it's like a book. It's like a good novel. It's like that's the way I feel.
Seems like sometimes they can get great casts too because they know they don't have to commit for many seasons. They can commit for a series, which is.
Yep. I produced a web series I'm really proud of for about 4 years. We did it in New York, but it was for LGBTQ kids. They were. It was based on high school kids who were gay. It was just like, and I think we started that in 2009, and it needed, really wasn't out in the world at the time. And it was a great show. We won a ton of awards for that thing.
Awesome.
That thing really did well.
It's meaningful. It's meaningful work.
It was really meaningful, I thought.
And so, Ryan, do you want to get back into acting? You had said that you kind of stepped away. I
did step away. I did. The last thing I did was Legally Blonde 2. I had a very small role, and then I did. I know.
I don't know why that's funny to me.
I know. Oh my gosh, it's so me, that movie. And I did.
Maybe you should make Legally. You can write Legally Blonde 3.
Yes,
get her
please.
on it.
Thank you. That'd be great. Let's work on that together. We'll collaborate. But then I did.
And you could go to the psychic for a reading.
Yes, all together again. But I started event planning, and I just wanted to do something creative again that I had my own control over, because when you're an actress, you are trying to get someone to give you a job, and it feels so out of your control, and there's something so frustrating about that. And I also, to be honest, I felt like, I went through conservatory. I was a formally trained actress, and I felt that, the things that I was booking weren't really what I wanted to do. It wasn't. What I loved about the craft was kind of being tainted in a way, and that made me sad. And so I felt like I needed to kind of take my life into my own hands again and be able to kind of direct my own life again, instead of, I felt that feeling of waiting for someone to give me this job constantly. And so I became a wedding planner and event planner and did really well. And that was really fun, super fun. And I'm still doing it, but I actually just always the creative person. So 4 years ago, I launched another company, which is sort of a different division, but it's called Tin Parade. And it's a party goods line. And so I design and produce my own party goods. And we've been in Nordstrom and Paper Source and Anthropology. So it's been super fun and creative, and it's really
I think it's interesting to hear. I mean, a lot of actors feel like they want to take their power back, and but you don't stop being creative. So I think it morphs into other avenues. I don't think there's a dividing point between creativity.
Yeah.
So depending on what your skill set is, it's just going to get channeled into something else.
Yeah.
And I feel like there will be a place in my life to do theater again, because I truly, that's what I miss. I don't miss the business of acting. Right. It's a very unhealthy environment. So much of it is. And I also didn't like that about it. And
but let me just make this really clear. Like, if anybody wants to get the St. Francisville 2 going, I mean, would you guys be in? Like, could I say right now that we would be in?
We would not be going back to the same house, right?
No. That house may not even be there anymore after what we did to it.
As long as I can have the tape, all my tape and everything.
But maybe we could get Tim back on board. Tim, are you out there? We're calling you in.
He can just think, right? And you guys can connect.
Yeah. I know. Where are you? I'm not getting anything in my brain waves. So I think we were going to look at we had a little fun treat for you guys, since it was great that you guys came on, by the way. And I have little party favors for you.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to have to get them. But we were going to look at some photos. We were going to show the audience some photos that I took that you may not have seen.
We wouldn't have seen these.
Yeah. So let's zoom in here.
Oh my.
How many do we have? I think we only
probably like 7 or 8.
Okay, so that's good.
So we'll start with this.
And I'm gonna go get them.
That's a movie poster, right?
Yep.
I actually have one of those.
I do too.
You?
Yeah.
I have one somewhere.
Somebody got a hold of me and tried to buy it. No, you can't
that's
have it.
Funny.
I remember that house, but that's not. That house is.
What is that?
That house is down the street from. That was I think.
Is that the one where they shot north and south at?
That's the one they were saying that this was the house.
This one. No, this is a bed and breakfast that is extremely haunted. But it's a bed and breakfast.
Was that the Myrtles?
I think
there was a place called the Myrtles.
That's the Myrtles. Maybe. Yeah, that thing is. We didn't get to go to it though. I didn't care.
Remember the movie North and South? They said it filmed right there as well.
Look at you in there.
And by the way, I just have to tell everybody, this is the same dress.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I am wearing, maybe the top part
still fitting in it, Madison.
The top part doesn't fit anymore, so I have this nice little blazer. But look, it's the same dress.
That's awesome.
Hold on, let me see.
I love it. That's so great.
See, I'm wearing the dress. Don't ask me to take the blazer off. It's a little snug, but that's okay. It's,
That's awesome.
That period.
I mean, not bad for.
I should have brought my blue T-shirt.
Do you still have that?
I have it.
Wow.
I have it, and the red
look at us.
flashlight that I wore around my neck. I have it somewhere.
Did you take a selfie back in the day?
I don't know what that. I don't know where it came from.
These
to tell you the truth,
probably taken from the movie.
And you guys, these were probably disposable. We didn't have phones with cameras on them.
No, we didn't.
No.
My guess
we would have had a lot more
pictures.
pictures.
These are pictures taken from stills taken.
Stills from the movie,
like screen grabs.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Paul, you had that that hair.
I know.
That hair.
Cut it all off.
Oh my gosh.
Is that where you were almost like strapped to the table? I don't. It's hard to know.
Like, that was at the end. Oh, this one. Remember how tired we were, you guys? And we were so tired and hungry. And the moment I kind of got slap happy. Do you remember that I found a sheet and I was pretending I was a ghost with a sheet that was over some furniture?
Yes. I don't.
That didn't make it into the movie. It was fun. That was a good moment. I can't believe it didn't make it in. Oh my gosh! Look.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, look how tired. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we were so tired.
Yeah,
so
it was.
tired.
It was like I said. It was harrowing.
That's
look
me.
At you,
Like I was
stressed.
I was so stressed out. Get me out of here.
That was the
And that's my normal face during this film. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
So awesome.
These are hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's funny because Waylon Jordan, who is a big fan of the film and the medium, and also wrote the 15-year reunion show for iHorror, he actually messaged me a photo of you, which I'll show you after. But I guess he had gotten it as a screenshot or anything. But it's fun. I mean, I'm kind of speechless. We have fans, and this movie was this movie was important to a demographic, and it told a story that I think I guess, needed to be told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Love it.
So I have some presents for you.
Oh my.
For coming on the show. They're partially metaphysical presents because this is metaphysically speaking. But before I give these to you, I just had a epiphany that I wanted to share with you, Paul, because I guess when I was looking up your bio on IMDb or maybe it was Facebook, I forget where I saw it, but we have the exact polar opposite birthdays because
really?
You're June 9th. I'm December 9th. And it's funny because in the movie, it's like we kind of like we were really kind of cast oppositely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, however you want to look at that was just really interesting how I think when a cast does come together, it really is somewhat of a meant to be situation where the dynamics of the group are just so perfect.
Yeah.
They're just perfect. And I guess casting people see that or the powers that be see that, but yeah, it was interesting.
You guys had some moments.
Oh yeah.
During filming, you had some moments.
What I'm trying to remember. I mean, I don't remember.
There were some "she's driving me crazy" moments, right?
Uh-huh.
There was some of that.
Was it like too much house blessings or
no?
I think you had like your own idea of how things should be, and I was like, we have to do this, and
I was just really afraid, and you weren't. I was like, listen, this is.
But Paul, you were also a leader, and I don't know if you realize that because I was.
I think we were
follower.
I think we were a little bit conflicted in that I was kind of leading the way. I was taught to lead by the metaphysical people that had told me to get there and do all these things, and you were like the more strategic.
He had processes. He wanted to fulfill this and then do this.
You were like,
I was wondering.
We got to get all the readings, and then you wanted to just get done.
Yeah, and I think we're both like in a weird way, like not that I'm trying to be, but I think we're both like a little bit more domineering than Tim and Ryan were. So we were clashing, and it's so interesting to see like, wow, we were like mirroring each other in this kind of opposite effect way. So it was.
I didn't realize we had opposite birthdays. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
To the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, split 365 in half.
Right.
There we are.
Yeah.
Somewhere my half birthday is on your birthday.
Right.
And your half birthday is on mine. I'll have to bring you a half a cake this year.
I like the idea of half birthday.
Right, I like that too.
So I have like these. I went to a store called oh my God, what is that store called? Well, anyway, True Insight. True Insight is a store where they do Reiki and they do healings and they do readings, and they have this. It's in El Segundo, but they have this amazing store with crystals and jewelry and these salt light things that you can plug in, and they produce positive ions. So I got you little things you may or may not want to wear, but I thought the properties were interesting. So this is yours, Ryan. And this opalite actually, it helps, it balances the chakras and meridians. It's a subtle, highly energetic stone, but it also works with success in business. Oh wait, is that the right one?
Oh, wrong one. Take it back.
Wait, I think, oh my goodness, how did I do that? That was yours. This is right.
Here, I'll take the purple bag.
See, we're as funny as we were in the movie. We're as funny as we were in the movie. So so it balances. I thought it was really kind of hippie chic, and it actually balances and works with business success
really
at this time of our history.
Yeah, but the most important thing is it's for business.
Okay,
it's for success in business, and I thought that was really cool. Now, Paul, I got you a different one. This is serpentine. It deals with longevity, and it deals with understanding spirituality, Kundalini energy. So it's a little bit more masculine than hers was, and more, I guess, of the practical nature. But I thought it was so kind of cool.
Now, what would happen if we switched necklaces? What would happen to us?
Well, then his business life would implode, and you would, your spiritual chakras would open. I don't know. You would start dreaming in past lives or something.
That's really nice. Thank you.
Cool. I'm glad that you liked it.
Gosh.
So I'm surprised that we didn't get people calling in, because a lot of people were messaging me, and
I wonder if there was technical.
There could be technical thing with the BidChat website. or the
that can
app.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and BitChat has only been around since October.
Okay.
They actually started. I think I met with them last summer. They started launching in September. I came in October. It took me a while to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with them, but yeah, they're still, the process is still new. The website's still new. So I think one day I'm going to have a practice show of just having people call it.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you everybody for coming. In case people do want to connect with you or hire you, or I don't know, do you want to tell anybody, like, if there's a website for either of you with your stuff, if people want to
Google.
Yeah.
Just use
You can
Google.
Google. It'll pop right up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming. I hope that this was a really fun episode for you guys. Whether or not you've seen the St. Francisville experiment or not, I hope you enjoyed meeting with us and hearing some of the fun stories that came about all those years ago.
Spoiler alert, we all live.
Bye. Here, wave everybody. Bye.
I'll say.
I love this.
Oh.